Earlier this year, I made my way through Final Fantasy XVI and have been streaming my playthrough sessions and did a full Let's Play on my Let's Play channel, which link to is in the show notes. Now that I have beaten the game, it's time to put down my thoughts for people who don't want to watch over 200 parts of a Let's Play on that YouTube channel to find out what I thought about it. The modern Final Fantasy games have been doing a complicated dance between reflex-based combat and more tactical menu-based. Final Fantasy XV and the Final Fantasy VII Remake games have struck a balanced approach to the equation, with the ability to pause the game and select more tactical options while switching between party members to approach things more granularly before getting all up close and personal and getting the reflex-based combat all up in there. Final Fantasy XVI, on the other hand, goes, to hell with that. We are going all in with the Devil May Cry combat, complete with having one of the designers from the Devil May Cry series involved with combat design. You have precise dodge windows, a parry mechanic where time slows down if you perfectly time a dodge, and a bunch of special abilities all related to movement, either getting out of the way of the attacks or getting into attack range, some of which will, even when you dodge an attack with them, will also freeze the enemy in place so you can get a whole bunch more hits in. And all this is accompanied by effectively taking party management out of the game. You have party members, but they act independently. They contribute to fights, but at no point are they in any peril. This is made up for by the story. The plot puts your protagonist, Clive, as a soldier in the middle of a power struggle between various kingdoms over the control of magical mother crystals, which these nations need to channel magical energy for all parts of life, paired with bearers, a slave class of people who can channel magic directly, but only to a limited degree. Ultimately, Clive gets caught up in a slave revolt led by this game's Cid, not only seeking freedom for bearers, but also an end to the use of crystals, who are responsible for the blight that is literally sucking the life out of the land. The game balances the anti-slavery aspects of the plot and the environmentalist aspects of the plot well. We see the overall inhumanity that bearers are faced with, and putting by general power level the bearers at a low level, the game avoids the X-Men mutant problem of where that has to balance people like Glob Herman, who is just a person who you can see their organs, but otherwise, well, just this guy, you know, and Magneto, who can control the Earth's magnetic field and can potentially render humanity extinct, and has to balance that in terms of making humanity's reaction to mutants seem proportional. Further, in this game, some of the things that the bearers face are exceptionally cruel, but they're cruel in ways that fit with historically how slaves and populations that were put as an underclass were treated in real life, like being forced into fighting each other, in some cases for very small prizes, if anything at all. So I think that fits. Also, the environmentalist themes of the story, I would argue, work even better than how they're executed in Final Fantasy VII. Here, the blight feels like a transparent analog to desertification brought on by climate change. We don't get changes to weather patterns brought on by the blight, but we do get displacement of wildlife and indigenous people, here represented by various different monster populations, both more animalistic monsters and monsters with their own cultures like goblins, due to the encroachment of the blight. That said, where I think the game suffers is that while a core mechanic of the game is based around getting the powers of various summons and developing them, a lot of the elemental aspects of the powers just don't come up. Normally in a Final Fantasy game, if I'm fighting a bomb, I don't want to use fire on it, because that fire is its element. I want to use something like ice or water or that sort of thing. Maybe wind, depending on the game and what color the bomb is. But here, if I am channeling Rama for lightning, or Shiva for ice, or Ifrit for fire, there is no mechanical difference with whatever spell attacks I hit the bomb with. They all do effectively the same amount of damage. No one does particularly more than any of the others. Or if it does, it's communicated extremely poorly. Considering that part of the idea of this game is having a novel concept of a loadout of summons to equip and being able to switch between, it feels like a disappointment that so little is done with it. Otherwise, I think the game is fine, and I'm glad I played it. It still feels weak though, particularly compared to some of the earlier games in the series. I can't fully recommend it for a full price purchase, but if it comes up on a Steam or a Humble Store sale, or one of the console marketplaces, or on, one of the Game Passes like Xbox Game Pass or PS Plus, it's definitely worth playing there, and of course, getting a copy from your friendly local indie game store. When you get a copy from your indie game store, then if you see any of the voice actors at the convention, you can get your copy signed. The DLC expansions are fun as well, and are included in the expansion pass should you get the game used, or an incentive there to buy the big collector's with the big complete collection. Affiliate links to where you can pick up the game are, of course, in the show notes. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please like and subscribe, and also consider backing my Patreon. Patreon backers get episodes up to 1 week early of this show and any future Let's Plays. Also, please consider backing my Ko-fi. Toss me a few bucks also helps support the show, and it's not a monthly obligation or anything like that.